The number of refugees, mostly women and children, continue to rise exponentially, with the EU leadership warning the bloc could see the arrival of 5 million Ukrainians, what senior UN officials are now calling the fastest growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II.
Simply put, millions of lives shattered. People can't stay home with shops shut, power and water cut, shells falling, phones switched off. They can't find what they need, even if they have money to pay for it. And as we have seen, even as the TV cameras roll, many can't flee in safety either in this conflict. It's been 11 days of escalating violence, fear and pain. As of 6th of March, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights reported at least 1,207 civilian casualties, including at least 406 dead, and I guess the real figure could be considerably higher.
The UN is calling for 3 immediate priorities to lessen the suffering on the ground. First, that parties take constant care to spare civilians and civilian homes and infrastructure, the need for safe passage for humanitarian supplies in areas where active hostilities are ongoing, and the urgent need to enable a system of constant communication to support those aid deliveries.
What is happening to children in Ukraine is a moral outrage. Images of a mother and her 2 children and a friend lying dead on the street, hit by a mortar as they tried to flee to safety, must shock the conscience of the world. We must act to protect children from this brutality. UNICEF calls upon the members of this council to remind all parties of their legal and moral obligation to protect children and spare them from attack.
As the wider implications of yet another unnecessary war become clearer.
I'm deeply worried about the consequences on vulnerable people living half a world away. Food prices are spiking, supplies are uncertain. We didn't need that either. People in the Sahel, in Yemen, the Horn of Africa, Afghanistan, Madagascar, already face profound food insecurity. Record-level fuel prices means life becomes harder still in places like Lebanon, where generators keep hospitals open and water treatment plants working.
This as negotiations continue over agreed humanitarian corridors for Ukrainians to safely exit some of the hardest hit cities. This latest humanitarian briefing coming in the context of ongoing negotiations in the Council on a French and Mexican-led draft resolution on unimpeded humanitarian access into Ukraine. The drafters urged the Security Council, where Russia sits with veto power, to assume its responsibility and put an end to the unfolding humanitarian tragedy. Mexico's ambassador telling us that they are working to keep the text 100% humanitarian focused so that the draft achieves its purpose amid concerns that a veto could yet again undermine the Council's broad consensus on the situation in Ukraine. Sherman Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.